If you would be interested in watching me do the entire career mode online, if you hit like, if I get 100 likes or 100 subscribers to any of my videos, I will do the entire career mode live on YouTube. To dock with another vessel, your orbit needs to be either bigger or smaller than their orbit. Otherwise, you'll never catch up with them unless you can perfectly time it that you land up in the exact same spot. But I am not here to teach you that. So the thing that is really helpful is if you have all of these things, all these little dots and digits and things, that really makes this whole mission a whole lot easier. You know, keep my mind and propellant for when I need it. Cool, so we're going to be doing a little burn to get our orbit bigger than their orbit. Cool, great. So there's my target. This is me. If we create a maneuver, and we have these little dots, so that's where I will be, and that's where the separation of 1,000 kilometers. If you right click on this, you can add rotations. So if I click on a rotation, you see how that thing moved. Click again, you see how that whole thing moves. If I right click again and I pull back just a little bit, I should get 2 dots. All right, if I move this about a little bit, we're gonna get success. Oh, there we go. You see? Double click on Earth. Hey, what happened? What happened? I don't know what happened there. So you can see we're a little bit off. So our separation is 7 kilometers. That's not bad. 5 kilometers. 2.9 kilometers. 2.5 kilometers. 1 kilometer. And our relative speed will be 129 meters per second, which is fine. So we hit a maneuver. We want to warp to our next thing, and you see now it'll just rotate and rotate and rotate until we get to where we need to be, which will be quick. There we go. So now we can, it's a 1 second burn. What helps in these sort of things is if you take your engine and you turn it down. It just allows you to have far more control over what's happening. Alright, so now you can see here, if I put some thrust, we're getting closer and closer and closer, which is fantastic, because the closer we are, the better. Four kilometers, 3 kilometers, 2 kilometers. Stop when it. Wow, 0.2 kilometers. And relative speed of 142 meters per second. That's hunky-dory. To go back to your ship, is you hit the button next to number 1. The console key or whatever, Counter-Strike Days console, you know? Okay. You might want to turn this back up. We seem to be good. So there's my target. I saw it. There it is. So when we're about, it's 100 meters per second. How much thrust do I have? Cool. So once we get a bit closer, like 5 seconds, what you do is you hit retrograde and you make sure that your selected target, you see, there goes the vessel I'm going to dock with. And, oh, if I hit retrograde, now when you burn retrograde, you actually burn away from the direction of movement, not away from your target. Because you must also realize that if I hit anti-target or target, that makes me face my target or face away from my target, where I don't really want to do that. I'm going to dump this thing because it's just getting too much. Cool. Just makes turning much easier if I don't have this massive weight on me. So now what you want to do, now that we've got a 0.5 meters per second difference between me and the target, is that if I click go to target and I just give a little bit of thrust, you see how this number starts to decrease. So that's the direction I'm moving, and that's where my target is. So if I move down a little bit and I move my direction of movement towards my target, the better. And I can speed things up a little bit. You don't really want to go too fast. Rather control with fast forwarding than controlling with speed, because speed takes up delta V. Cool, now you want to go retrograde, because it's going to retrograde to the direction of movement of your target, remember? Once we get about 100 meters. Cool. Just slow burns. Once again, we can turn this down. Cool. So there's my target. Another really good idea is to not use your monopropellant while you're trying to get there, because you might just get there and not have any left. And that's a problem. Cool. We're pretty much here. So if you want to swap between vehicles, you hit the open big brackets or close big brackets, the one that's next on the right hand side of the P. So you can just easily swap. Cool. Now what you want to do is you want to hit docking mode and turn on your thrusters. What this allows us to do is have much better control over the fine movements. If you hit spacebar, you see it goes from rotation to for linear. If I rotate, I can easily just rotate my vessel, all right, because I want to be in the same rotation or the same angle as that vessel. Hit spacebar again. When I first learned about the key, it stressed me hitting spacebar. So to go backwards, like to down, like you'd use the same thing to decrease your thrust, which is control. So I can move backwards. Keep things at like less than 1 meter per second. All right. Nice and slow. So I can see that my rotation is a bit off. Cool. Getting a bit far away. And you just slowly guide yourself in. And to go forwards, you use shift to add. And then you turn off your SAS, otherwise you can get massive vibrations and it'll connect. Took a little bit longer than expected, but as normal, that's what happens. I hope that's useful, helpful. Then if you want to undock, you just right click and say, there we go, undock, and you can undock.